Right in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean, there's a volcano that shoots up from the sea floor. This isn't just a mountain, it's an active volcano, and on its rocky slopes sits the most isolated settlement on Earth. This is Tristan da Cunha. Just one village exists on this island, called Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. It's home to about 250 people, and the space between them and the rest of the world is almost unbelievable. The nearest other people are on an island called St. Helena, which is itself incredibly remote. It's a staggering 2,430 kilometers to the north. To the east, the coast of South Africa is over 2,800 kilometers away, while the shores of South America are more than 3,300 kilometers to the west. There is no airport. The only way to get there is by a fishing boat from South Africa that makes the trip only 8 or 9 times a year. These people don't just live near a volcano, they live on it. In 1961, it erupted violently. The first signs were earthquakes that shook the settlement. Soon after, ash began to fall, and a vent opened up on the coast near the village, spewing lava and creating a new volcanic cone that actually destroyed the island's potato patches. Facing this immediate danger, the entire population of nearly 264 people was forced to evacuate. They left their homes quickly, taking what they could, and were taken by boat to a temporary camp on Nightingale Island. The community was relocated to England for 2 years. They were thrust into a modern society with traffic, jobs, and money. Things many of them had never known. The British government assumed they would stay. Why would anyone return to such a hard life on a remote, dangerous rock? However, when given the choice to stay in modern Britain or return to their isolated island, the vast majority of islanders chose to go back to Tristan da Cunha. Literally, they chose to return to their volcano. So what is the secret of this island? What makes people risk everything to live in the shadow of an active volcano? How do you live an everyday life when your entire world is just a few hundred people and everyone shares only 7 last names? What do you do all day? What do you eat? And is it even possible to commit a crime when everyone knows everything about you? Most importantly, why would anyone choose this? So how did this all begin? How do you even find an island this remote? Well, the first person to lay eyes on it was a Portuguese admiral, Tristan da Cunha, way back in 1506. He saw the volcanic peak through the mist, noted it on a map, and then sailed right on by. For the next 300 years, it was just a ghost on maritime charts, a place everyone knew was there, but no one had any reason to visit. The first attempt to live here was as wild as the island itself. In 1810, an American from Salem, Massachusetts named Jonathan Lambert landed with a few men and declared himself the emperor. He renamed the place the Islands of Refreshment, but his empire was short-lived. Just 2 years later, he and his men drowned in a fishing accident. Then, in 1816, Napoleon Bonaparte was imprisoned on the island of St. Helena. The British Empire was terrified that the French might use Tristan da Cunha as a secret base to rescue him, so they sent a small garrison to the island to claim it and stop that from happening. But Napoleon never escaped, and the threat vanished. A year later, the British packed up to leave, but as the ships were preparing to sail, one man, a Scottish corporal named William Glass, stepped forward. He, his wife, and their 2 children asked to stay. This one decision was the true birth of the community. William Glass and his family, along with 2 other soldiers, became the first permanent residents. He created a founding principle that still defines the island today, a system of equality. No one person would own the land. They would work together and share everything. But this created a problem. It was a community of bachelors. So the men did the only thing they could. They flagged down a passing ship and literally asked the captain to bring them wives. He sailed to St. Helena and returned with 5 women. Over the years, more arrived. Shipwrecked sailors from Italy and the Netherlands, as well as whalers from New England. This random mix of castaways and pioneers from all over the world became one people. To this day, the entire population is dominated by just 7 surnames: Glass, Green, Hagen, Lavarello, Repetto, Rogers, and Swain. You might be wondering about the family tree. It's more of a family wreath. For a long time, everyone on the island was, to some degree, a cousin. Marrying within the extended family was just a fact of life. It was either that or no one got married at all. This has left a mark. The community sees certain health issues, like asthma, pop up more often because of this shared gene pool, but they've never been ignorant of it. It's just the hand they were dealt. And today, things are slowly changing. Young islanders often go abroad for university or work, and many come back with a husband or wife from the UK or South Africa. It's a quiet, natural way of bringing in new blood, ensuring the community stays healthy for the next 200 years. Now, how does this giant family actually make a living, stuck out in the middle of the ocean? Their entire economy is built on 2 things. 1, a very valuable lobster, and 2, an old-fashioned habit of doing everything for themselves. The real money comes from the sea. The Tristan rock lobster is a fancy delicacy that ends up on plates in high-end restaurants in Japan and America. The island runs its own fishing boats and a processing factory. The cash from selling these lobsters is the island's lifeline. It pays for the fuel to run their generators, the parts to fix their tractors, and all the tinned goods and supplies that get shipped in once a year. But if the lobster brings in the cash, the real heart of their survival is something much older. It's self-sufficiency. Every single family has their own plot of land, called a patch, outside the village where they grow potatoes. They all raise a few cattle and sheep. If someone's roof needs fixing, the neighbors show up with their tools. If a road washes out, everyone pitches in to repair it. Most people don't have just one job. The person working the morning shift at the lobster factory might also be a farmer, a mechanic, and a part-time builder. Your value here isn't just about the money you earn, it's about what you can do and how you can help your community. And in a place like this, where everyone is family and neighbor, the idea of crime just doesn't make much sense. Think about it. Where would you even go? If you stole something, everyone would know it was you by lunchtime. There is no police station. There are no locks on the doors. It's not that they're naive. It's that they live with a level of trust most of us can't even imagine. So which currency is used out there in the middle of the ocean? Politically, Tristan da Cunha is part of the British Overseas Territory of St. Helena, Ascension, and Tristan da Cunha. In simple terms, this means they are a part of the United Kingdom, just a very, very distant part. Because of this, their official money is the British pound sterling. So if you're buying something at the island's only store, you're using the same currency as someone in London. But here's the important part. While the UK handles its big picture defense and foreign affairs, the islanders run their own day-to-day lives. A locally elected island council makes decisions about its community, its laws, and how to protect its unique way of life. And you know what? Now this settlement has electricity. For power, they're turning more and more to the sun. They've started installing solar panels across the island to work alongside their generators. It's a tricky job getting all the equipment shipped over, but it's a step towards a more sustainable future for them. They even have satellite internet now, which is slowly connecting them to the rest of the world without requiring them to ever leave. But if hearing all this makes you want to pack your bags and escape your hectic life, I have to be the one to tell you, you can't. It's just not an option. The rule is strict and straightforward. The right to live on Tristan da Cunha is reserved for those born there. That's it. The only exceptions are for a handful of essential people, like a doctor or a teacher who are brought in on temporary contracts. Even if you fall in love with and marry an islander, you don't automatically get to live there. You must apply, and the entire community must approve you. It sounds tough, but it makes perfect sense. What they have is special and fragile. It's a delicate balance of people and resources. Allowing new people in could easily upset that whole balance. So they protect it. They have to. So we've seen it all. A community that chose its volcano over modern Britain. They've seen our world and they made a conscious choice to turn away from it. They traded convenience for connection and anonymity for absolute community. So here's a question for all of us. In our busy, connected, and often anonymous world, what have we lost that they have managed to keep? Let me know what you think in the comments below.